Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. If you love sweet potatoes, you are going to love today's Thanksgiving recipe. I'll be making my sweet potato casserole with brown sugar pecan topping and a homemade meringue topping. This recipe takes the classic dish to a whole new level. It's packed with so much incredible flavors. We're going to be adding a little bit of brown sugar and some cinnamon into the sweet potatoes, and then we'll make a delicious buttery pecan topping. And my favorite part is the homemade meringue topping. It tastes so much better than using store-bought marshmallows on top of the casserole. It's just so light and fluffy, and I like to give it a little bit of torch with my kitchen torch, and it makes it look so fancy. You guys are going to love this recipe. Let's get started, and I'll show you how to make this Thanksgiving classic. And I'm going to get things started with the sweet potatoes. So today I'm using 4 pounds of sweet potatoes. I have 3 extra large sweet potatoes. I'm just going to peel these, chop them up, and then we need to cook them on the stovetop until they're fork tender. I'm going to grab my peeler and peel the potatoes. You want to make sure you remove any knots or brown bits. And I like to place the sweet potatoes in a large bowl filled with cold water to prevent them from browning as I'm peeling the rest of the potatoes. And once I have my sweet potatoes peeled, I'm going to grab a sharp knife and then chop the sweet potatoes into large chunks. And you want to make sure that you're cutting them into equal sized chunks so that while the sweet potatoes are cooking, they're going to cook evenly. And I'm going to transfer my sweet potatoes into a large pot. And I'm going to add some water to cover the sweet potatoes by a few inches. And these sweet potatoes are ready for the stovetop. I'm going to close the pot with my lid, and then I'll bring them up to a boil over high heat and cook them for about 20 to 25 minutes until the potatoes are fork tender. You want them to be extra soft. Once they're done cooking, just drain them, and then we'll come back to add the rest of our ingredients. And while my sweet potatoes are cooking, I'm going to get started on the brown sugar crumble pecan topping. I have half a cup of all-purpose flour. To that, I'm going to be adding in half a cup of unsalted butter, and this butter is straight out of the refrigerator. It's really nice and cold. I'm going to grab my pastry blender. You can also use 2 large forks and cut the butter into the flour until I have large crumbs. And to this mixture, I'm also going to add in half a cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, just a sprinkle of ground nutmeg, and last I'll add in 1 cup of diced pecans. I just drained my sweet potatoes, and now I'm going to transfer them into a large bowl. And to my sweet potatoes, I'm going to be adding in half a cup of unsalted softened butter. Just drop it right in, and the hot potatoes are going to melt that butter almost instantly. I'm also going to add in a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. If you want your casserole to be sweeter, you can add another 1/4 cup. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 teaspoon of salt. And now I'm going to use my hand mixer to mix this all together. I want the sweet potatoes to be really soft and creamy. Next, I'll add in 1 large egg and 2 egg yolks and mix that in. And for today's recipe, I'm using a large casserole, and I've sprayed the inside with some nonstick baking spray, and I'm going to just scoop my sweet potatoes right into the casserole and spread the sweet potatoes evenly to the edges. And now I'm ready to add that crumble topping that I prepared earlier. Just going to grab a spoon and sprinkle it over the top. This topping is going to be so incredible. That butter just melts, and you have the brown sugar, the pecans. It's my favorite part about sweet potato casseroles. And the meringue. I love the meringue as well. And this sweet potato casserole is ready to go into my preheated oven. I've set mine to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's going to bake for about 25 to 27 minutes until that top is golden brown and caramelized. That butter should be nicely melted. While this casserole is in the oven, we are going to make our homemade meringue topping. It is going to be the best topping for this sweet potato casserole. I'm going to start the meringue with the egg whites. I have 3 large egg whites. I'm going to pour them into my mixer bowl. And I'm going to turn on my mixer on medium speed and whisk the egg whites for a few minutes until soft peaks form. Next, I'm going to prepare a simple sugar syrup. This is going to cook the egg whites and it's going to stabilize the meringue. So into a small saucepan, I've attached a candy thermometer. I'm going to add in 1 cup of white granulated sugar. And to the sugar, I'll add in a 1/4 cup of water, but I will not stir this mixture. I'm just gonna pour that water in, and then I'm going to go take this over to the stove top and cook the sugar syrup over medium-high heat until it reaches 240 degrees Fahrenheit on my candy thermometer. And you'll want to let the sugar syrup cook over medium-high heat for about 5 to 6 minutes until it reaches 240 degrees Fahrenheit, and do not stir it at any time. And immediately after the syrup reaches the right temperature, you want to take it off the stovetop, turn the mixer onto a medium speed, and slowly pour in the syrup. Once you've added in all the syrup, add in 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and then turn this mixer up to high speed and whisk for about 7 to 8 minutes. Guys, check out this incredible meringue. Isn't this something else? It is so fluffy and glossy, and it's really holds its shape nicely. It's going to be the perfect topping to the sweet potato casserole. I just took this casserole out of the oven, and check out this golden brown top. That butter has really melted and it's created this incredible crust. Now it's time to add the meringue. I'm going to grab my prepared meringue and just drop it in dollops across the top of the casserole. Now, if you wanted extra meringue, you could just double up this recipe and have a real mountain of meringue on the top. I'm going to use the back of a spoon just to make the meringue look extra pretty. And now time to bring out the kitchen torch. I'm going to torch the top of the meringue. If you don't have one of these, you can also just place this under the broiler for about 3 to 4 minutes to allow the meringue to caramelize. And check out all those layers on the inside. You have the sweet potato, and then that brown sugar pecan layer, and then that fluffy meringue. And for serving, all you have to do is grab a large spoon. Make sure you scoop up some of the meringue, the sweet potato, just like that. This is gonna be so, so good. And that is it, guys, for my sweet potato casserole recipe. I may be just a little bit biased, but I think this is the prettiest casserole ever. I absolutely love that torched meringue on the top. It makes it look so pretty. For the full recipe, don't forget to head on down in the video description box. I'll have a link there that'll take you over to my website so you can find the full recipe and share it with your family and friends. And now, time to dig in and enjoy. Now, the secret to enjoying a sweet potato casserole is getting a little bit of everything. So you want some of that sweet potato, and then that crunchy caramel layer, and of course some of that meringue. Oh, this looks so good, and it smells so incredible when it's in the oven. I'm going to give you guys a fair warning right now that you will not be able to stop at 1 serving. This is by far the best sweet potato casserole I have ever had. It is so incredibly delicious. You have the fluffy, soft sweet potatoes. I love that they're not too sweet because the meringue is a little sweet and the filling is sweet. So by adding just a 1/4 cup of sugar to the sweet potatoes, it really balances everything out. And then you have that caramelized pecan layer. It has like these little crunchy bits of pecans, and then the brown sugar. So, so good, complemented by that fluffy, sweet meringue topping. All these different layers combined together are so heavenly. It is just magical. You guys are going to love this. Even if you don't love sweet potato casseroles, give this one a try. Even my husband likes this one, and he hates sweet potatoes, so you guys are gonna love it, I guarantee you. This is going to be the perfect side dish for your Thanksgiving meal. I hope you guys enjoy this for Thanksgiving, and happy Thanksgiving if you guys are celebrating. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.